I watched a client throw away $47,000 last year. Not on a bad investment, not on a scam. He threw it away by doing something he thought was smart, something his father taught him, something that made perfect sense in 1995. The problem? It's not 1995 anymore. Back then, certain financial habits made you wealthy. Today, those same habits make you poor. What changed? Everything. The technology, the markets, the economy, the tax code, the fee structures, the information asymmetry. But here's what didn't change. Most people are still following advice from a world that no longer exists. So let me tell you about 7 things that are wasting your time and your money. These aren't the obvious ones like buying lottery tickets or paying credit card interest. You already know those are stupid. These are the things smart people do. Things that feel responsible, things your parents taught you that are quietly destroying your wealth. 1. Chasing every new opportunity. There was a young man I worked with. His name was John. Bright, restless, always ahead of the curve. The kind of person who knew what was trending before everyone else caught on. The first time we met, he was deep into Forex trading. 6 months later, he had moved into crypto. After that, e-commerce, then affiliate marketing, then back to crypto again because this time it's different. Every conversation we had started the same way. I think I've found something. And every time I believed him because sometimes he had. But 5 years later, his situation hadn't changed, not in any meaningful way. I remember the exact moment it hit him. We were reviewing his finances and he went quiet for a while. Then he said, almost to himself, "I've been starting over every year." That's what chasing opportunity does when there's no commitment behind it. It keeps you in motion, but not in progress. Because the truth most people don't want to accept is this. The point where something starts to feel slow, repetitive, even boring, that's usually where the real results begin. But if you leave every time you reach that point, you never get there. 2. Trying to impress people with your spending. A few years after Tunde, I worked with someone completely different. Older, more established. Let's call him Daniel. Emeka had what most people would call a good life. Strong salary, senior role, visible success. But he had a habit I've seen destroy more financial futures than poor income ever has. He spent to maintain an image. The first time I noticed, it was subtle. A conversation about upgrading his car, not because there was anything wrong with the current one, but because, in his words, it's time. Time for what? I asked. He didn't answer directly. Later, it showed up again. Expensive clothes he didn't need, frequent high-end outings, a lifestyle that looked impressive but required constant feeding. Eventually, I asked her a question that made him uncomfortable. If your income stopped today, how long would this lifestyle survive? He didn't say anything at first. Then he laughed, not because it was funny, but because he already knew the answer. Not long. That's when it became clear he wasn't spending for utility, he was spending for perception. And perception is expensive, because the people you're trying to impress, they're not watching you as closely as you think. And even if they are, their attention is temporary. But the financial pressure you create, that stays. 3. Obsessing over small savings while ignoring big decisions. There was another client, I'll call him Jude, who was the exact opposite of Daniel. Disciplined, careful, almost surgical with money. He tracked everything. Every expense had a purpose. Every purchase was justified. If there was a way to save, he found it. On paper, he was doing everything right. But when we looked at his overall position, something didn't add up. He had been in the same job for over a decade. Minimal growth, predictable income, no significant jumps. I asked him why he hadn't explored other opportunities. His answer was immediate. I don't like uncertainty. So instead, he focused on what he could control, expenses. He would spend hours optimizing small costs, but avoided decisions that could change his financial trajectory entirely. And that's where most people get it wrong. They focus on what feels manageable instead of what actually matters. Because negotiating your salary is uncomfortable, changing careers is risky, positioning yourself differently takes effort. But cutting small expenses, that feels safe, predictable, responsible. And yet, it rarely changes anything in a meaningful way. 4. Waiting until you feel ready. There's a woman I remember very clearly, not because of what she did, but because of what she delayed. She wanted to start investing, and she approached it the way many intelligent people do. She studied, read extensively, watched courses, analyzed trends. Every time we spoke, she knew more than the last time, but she hadn't started, not once. There was always a reason. The market feels unstable. I need to understand this better. I'll start soon. Soon stretched into 2 years. 2 years of preparation, 0 years of participation. Then one day she came in and said something very simple. I think I've been afraid. Not of losing money, but of doing something imperfectly. And that's when it became clear. She wasn't waiting for readiness, she was waiting for certainty. And in finance, certainty is a luxury you rarely get. Eventually, she started. Small amounts, imperfect decisions, real exposure. And a few months later, she said something that stayed with me. It wasn't as complicated as I made it. It almost never is. 5. Consuming financial content without implementation. A younger client once told me something that sounded impressive at first. I've read over 20 finance books this year, and he had. He could explain concepts clearly, break down strategies, discuss markets with confidence. But when we looked at his actual financial position, there was nothing behind it. No structure, no consistent investment, no execution. So I asked him, what have you actually applied? He paused, then said, I'm still learning. And that's when I recognized something I see more now than ever. Learning had become his comfort zone. Because learning feels productive. There's no risk, no loss, no exposure. You can understand everything and still stay exactly where you are. But action? Action forces you to confront reality, mistakes, uncertainty, imperfection. So instead of moving forward, he stayed where he felt capable, in theory. And theory doesn't build wealth. 6. Trying to do everything alone. Early in my career, I admired people who did everything themselves. It looked strong, independent, until I started seeing the cost of it. There were 2 individuals I worked with around the same time. Similar backgrounds, similar income levels, but very different approaches. One insisted on figuring everything out alone. No advice, no mentorship, no collaboration. The other was different. He asked questions, sought guidance, learned from people ahead of him. 5 years later, the difference was undeniable, not because one was smarter, but because one made fewer avoidable mistakes. And mistakes, especially in finance, don't just cost money, they cost time. And time compounds just like money does, except when it's gone, it's gone. 7. Ignoring your relationship with money. The last one is harder to talk about because it's not practical, it's personal. There was a client I worked with, high income, strong career, impressive on every external level. But financially, he was stuck in a loop. Earn more, spend more, reset. Over and over. At first, it didn't make sense until we stopped looking at numbers and started looking at patterns. And eventually, something surfaced. Growing up, money was unstable. When it came in, it was spent quickly before it disappeared again. That habit never left him. Even when his situation changed, his behavior didn't. So he kept operating from a place that no longer matched his reality. And that's what most people miss. Your financial decisions are rarely just logical. They're emotional, learned, repeated, reinforced over time. And if you don't understand that, you'll keep repeating patterns that no amount of income can fix. After all these years, here's what I've come to understand. Financial growth isn't just about what you do, it's about what you stop doing. The distractions, the habits, the patterns that quietly take your time without giving you anything meaningful in return. Because in the end, you don't build wealth by being busy, you build it by being deliberate. And the people who get there, they learn to recognize what no longer deserves their time, and they let it go without hesitation. Take a moment and ask yourself, what am I still doing that stopped serving me a long time ago? Because whatever that is, it's costing you more than you think. And tell me in the comment,